Hey ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steven. Welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. You are watching From Soul to Crown. I really hope this video finds you well, and I hope you're having a blessed day. So what I wanted to do in this video is share yet another synchronicity that I experienced. And this was actually something that happened to me back in February of 2020. Now, as I said before on this channel, back in February is when I started taking supplements to decalcify my pineal gland. I don't even know if I'm all the way there yet, and the only, I guess you could say, tangible or concrete proof of it working or it doing something is I'm having these crazy vivid dreams that I can wake up every single morning and say, yep, I remember exactly what happened. First I dreamt about this, then I dreamt about that. And I've been having some crazy synchronicities, and I'll be sharing one of those synchronicities today. The fascinating thing is that if you approached me even a year ago, or even back in January, and you said to me, hey, Steven, what is the last time you had such a vivid dream where you woke up in the morning and you were capable of remembering every single thing that happened to you? I would honestly turn around and tell you, yeah, that happens to me maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years or something like that. It certainly wasn't something that was happening to me every single day. But since I started taking these supplements in February of 2020, it's been happening to me every single day. And I started to question, well, what could it possibly be? Is it because some of these ingredients maybe increase the production of melatonin in my body? Is it because I'm like half awake, half asleep, and so I'm having all of these crazy dreams and I'm just waking up being able to remember them? I really don't know what to attribute to it, but I certainly feel as though even from a biological standpoint, like my pineal gland is functioning at a much more optimum level. And so for that reason, I continue to take these supplements, and I still take chaga mushroom tea and wild oregano oil and raw garlic whenever I can stomach it and if I have a taste for it that day. But I don't rely on taking that every single day because I'm sure you can imagine it makes your breath smell pretty bad. But today we're here because I want to share a synchronicity with you. And this is something that happened to me back in February. It was actually February 16th. And I know this sounds kind of weird that I remember the day, but I'm pretty good with dates. So on February 13th, I flew to Istanbul, Turkey. I spent Valentine's Day in Turkey. From Istanbul, Turkey, I went to London, England on the 15th. From London, England, I went to Barcelona, Spain. And I was on a business trip. So while I was on this business trip, I visited this factory in Barcelona, Spain, where I met up with somebody who is involved in this business that I'm operating. And he and I were chatting in his office, and I just felt the need to ask him. I said, I know you're originally from Spain. I believe he's of Colombian descent, but he lives in Spain. And I said, I know you reside in Spain. You are a citizen of Spain. I said, but do you often find yourself coming to the United States? I knew he traveled to France a lot, Paris and Grasse and, all these, and Milan as well, Milan, Italy. So he travels to France and Italy. And I said to him, do you ever find yourself in the United States? He goes, I don't really visit the United States, but I do try to visit at least once a year. And he said to me, coincidentally, I'm going to be in the United States this month, later this month. And at that moment I said, oh wow, you have to let me know when you decide to visit New Jersey or New York. I live in New Jersey. I said to him, you have to tell me when you visit in New Jersey because I would love to host you. And he says to me, okay, yeah, that sounds great. But unfortunately, he says, I'm not going to be in New Jersey or New York. I said, oh, that's a bummer. I said, where are you going to be? And he goes, I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And I thought to myself, wait a second, I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this month too. I was speaking on a panel on February 28th and 29th. And so I said to him, when will you be in Georgia exactly? And he goes, on the 28th and the 29th. And I said, Chris, you're kidding me. No. I said, are you really going to be in Georgia on the 28th and 29th? He goes, yeah, I am. And not only that, I get to Georgia on the 28th and the 29th, because I kept this in mind. And I said, oh my God, we definitely have to meet up when you get to Georgia. And like, so out of the blue, that this one person who lives in Barcelona, Spain, and this person who lives in northern New Jersey just so happened to be in Atlanta, Georgia on that same weekend for two totally different reasons. And he goes, yeah, let's meet up when I'm there. He actually attended because there was a numismatics collection. He collects banknotes. And I said, okay, well, we have to meet up, but you know, Atlanta is a pretty big city, right? You can be on the northern end, the southern end. So he says to me, okay, I'll send you a message on WhatsApp when I'm there. And I wake up that morning and I said, you know what? I would like to meet up with you. I said, are you in the area? He sends me a message and he goes, hey, I'm at my hotel, but I'm on my way to, I think it's called the World of Coca-Cola or the Coca-Cola Museum. And I'm like, oh, let me see how far away that is from me. And I pull out Google Maps and I'm looking it up and it's a block away from my hotel. So I'm like, Chris, it's a block away from my hotel. That's crazy. And not only did he show up, but he also came to this convention with me, and he ended up, so at this convention, I ended up speaking about the very product that he manufactures. And it was interesting because I connected him with the person who hosts that convention, and he actually had an opportunity to speak to him, and it was really cool. It was like, wow, the fact that these two people were brought together and that now there is this viable potential partnership between the two. And not only that, but when he and I met up, we were sitting in the Uber. He actually shared some valuable advice with me that day. I'm not going to go on a tangent and tell you what it is. It's also quite personal, but it's something that affected the way that I kind of look at things. And if it weren't for me having that conversation with him and feeling the sudden impulse to ask him on February 16th, like, hey, do you ever find yourself in the States at all? And then all of a sudden I find out that he's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia for a numismatics collection, which is completely different from the reason why I was in Georgia, then I would have never had that opportunity to meet up with him and for him to exchange these really valuable and sentimental words with me, which was absolutely amazing. So a lot of times, the reason I mention this story is because, you know, sometimes you feel something in your gut and you're like, oh, I feel like I should ask this person this question. It's totally unrelated, has nothing to do with the topic on which we're currently discussing, but I just feel this sudden impulse, this gut feeling or reaction to ask this person this question. And I ended up asking him the question, and look at where it led. And now he and I are actually quite close. I was so thankful that he came to that convention or that conference that I spoke at, on which I was a panel speaker. But anyway, I want to share this with you because I want you to keep your hopes up. You know, the universe is trying to communicate with you in various ways. And I found myself always having my guard up and always being defensive and always thinking to myself, yeah, this is a pseudoscience, this is malarkey, you know, whatever, I'm not going to believe in this, it's a sham or whatever. And then when it's finally started happening to me back in February, I said, there's something going on here, because these synchronicities are happening to me almost every day, you know, kind of every other day. But I am a believer now, and I'm really, really excited to see what else is going to happen to me in the future. I do believe in the law of attraction. I believe that it exists. I believe that there is this divine energy in the cosmos that sort of grounds us and, you know, sends us these psychic downloads, if you will, and these messages, these synchronicities, these chance encounters that are unexplainable, and they exist independent of one another, but they somehow cross paths. And there's this sudden parallel that is just so mystifying, but at the same way so humbling and so enlightening. And I don't know if it's one of these things where you must have a high conscious in order to be able to interpret it, but all I'm saying is please don't lose hope. The universe is working in very mysterious ways, and everything happens for a reason, and I am a firm believer in that, as I've always been. And so I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your viewership. I hope you took something of value from this video. And I just want to apologize if I seem to be talking on and on. Sometimes I go on a tangent. I promise you I don't like the sound of my own voice. I can't even watch my own videos because I cringe. But I am letting you know that there is a power out there, something that we have not even scratch the surface of, starting to wrap our minds and our consciousnesses around. And so anyway, thank you so much for watching. I think I made up a word, consciousnesses. I'm pluralizing things. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please do consider subscribing if you took something of value from this video. I would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next episode.